Hello everybody, Corey here to do the ULTY video. Just a reminder that I'm not a qualified licensed investment or financial advisor. I just obtain the data and present it to you so you can make your own decisions and form your own opinions. Just a reminder, please ensure you understand the risk involved in these before investing in them. And you know what? I was just starting to do something, and for the first time ever for this fund, I have screwed up. I do not have the trades for today, unfortunately. I was trying. I don't know what I was doing. Dang it, I'm just so mad at myself now because I didn't get the trades done on Friday. Or I didn't get the videos done, and so I didn't get any of them. I did all the stuff. I had all the files. I just never actually did the video. Then I had battle assembly, and I never got the videos done themselves. So I was trying to, get some of the stuff done and then go back and do the video. What I failed to realize is that it was after midnight. And since it is after midnight, I do not have any of the trades because the trades disappear at midnight. And that's my fault, my stupidity. So I am not going to reach out to Jay. So I will apologize to everyone because not only does that mess up me not being able to show you the actual trades that they made today, but it will mess up our premiums and stuff on my spreadsheet. Now, I can, try to generate something based off the holdings, and what it says, but it's not going to be the same. So, not only do I get to apologize for not doing Friday's videos, I get to apologize for not having the data from today because I just wasn't thinking. And because I didn't work at home today, usually when I get off of work, I go ahead and capture the trades and have all that done and do the holdings later. But because it's Monday and I was in the office, and then I went to the doctor to get my hand x-rayed, and I didn't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock, that I didn't get any of the trades captured. So anyway, so y'all don't get irritated with me more because now I'm just extremely pissed off at myself for not capturing them. We'll just go with what we have. So I apologize. So I haven't even looked at the stuff because once I saw that, I was like, well, crap. There goes everything, right? So I guess the first thing I should do is look at, So I'm going to have to pause the video now because I was so mad and I just started it. And now that I'm looking at the actual spreadsheet, we have some brand new tickers in here. We have Reddit. I can see, I recognize that one, and I think that's Novavax, but I'll have to verify. But we've never had either one of these here, so I'm going to have to add that data to the daily trade and then take away the ones that we don't have anymore and get that stuff prepared. And then I'll have to unpause to come back because I was just so mad. I didn't even do anything but immediately start recording when I realized I didn't have the trades. So give me a few seconds. For you, it'll be a few seconds. For me, it might be 30 minutes, but I'll be right back. All right. I don't know. I guess it's probably been 45 minutes for me looking at the time, I think. But maybe I've calmed down some because there's nothing I can do about it now, right? So now the spreadsheet's going to try to catch up to everything I did on the desktop. But one thing that I would like to do is go back. Of course, I don't know what spreadsheet it was on now. I remember. Okay, it was here. So I had to go back to last Thursday. And again, I did all this stuff on Friday. I just didn't get to do the video. So what I had done is went back to last Thursday's holdings so we could look at what had happened. Because on Friday's holdings, there's nothing but the stocks. And this is our second week. So I'll just show you before I forget. This is our second week doing this. Remember last week it was just GameStop, but it's the same thing this week. All of these that are in red are ones that actually were over their strike price at the close on Friday, and they were still on the holdings. So be careful when you're looking at the holdings, Friday night to Monday night, because they may have stocks on there that they no longer hold. So I had to go back. That's why I went back to Thursday's holdings and then pulled the stock prices to see who was over their strike prices. So you can see here, I put expired worthless for all the ones that were not over the stock prices. But then we had a few here, as you can tell. For instance, here, Celsius here, their strike price was $90. They closed at $93.02. Therefore, they were $3.02 over their strike price. So we had that for Celsius here. We had this for the cannabis, or CGC stock. And then we had it for Mara, and then MicroStrategy. And then we had it for some of the root. So we see the 668 contracts had a strike price of 65, and they closed at 65.58. So they were over, but they were not over for the 108. So just to point that out. And then we had SMCI. They were over by $63. And yeah, so all of those, with the exception of the partial for root, would, are still showing on the holdings, but aren't actually there except for the portion of the root that would be there on Friday. But the rest of them expired worthless, so we would still have those shares. So that's the first thing I always go through on Friday. So sorry again, just getting to that. And then I updated this. And so I was right. The NVAX was the Novavax. So that is a new ticker, which is right here. And then the other one was Reddit, which we have right here. So our current IV, the highest one is the Novavax at 128%. And, oh, these bottom ones actually loaded. All right. Well, you know what? They're not even in the formula now because they hadn't loaded earlier. So, oh, well, they're not loaded. Okay. They're loaded on one sheet, but not the other. And they're not loaded on my other sheet now either. But since I see them here, it's weird because I'm looking at them. I'm just going to type what's there. 98, 71, 88. There we go. Because the rankings won't show on my spreadsheet, but they're showing on the iPad. So that was weird. All right, so let's look at it. So Novavax is still number one. With the cannabis and Bitcoin stocks right behind it. And then Celsius is still at the bottom with 48%. So I wonder how much longer that will be there, which is funny because I'm sitting here drinking a Celsius now. Sorry about that. All right. So that's just to go through. You can see the inception, initial IV, current IV, and the current ranking. And then if we go over here, we'll look at the stock prices for today. So ULTY itself here went up 7 cents, which apparently is 0.5%. And the S&P went up about $5, which is 0.09%. Looks like the cannabis stock here went down 7%, Lyft down 3%, Affirm down 2, and Reddit down 1. But then we have some big movers, which of course, Bitcoin, which by the way, as I was going through this, they sold coin. So, yeah, I bet I bet Jay's kicking himself now, just like GameStop the other week. But yeah, I don't know why, but coin has been in here the majority of the time. A lot of the time, I'd have to go back to the beginning because I feel like there was a gap in between there. But yeah, no coin. So that happened. Anyway, we have Mara and CleanSpark here, MicroStrategy still. So I don't know why coin came out itself, but anyway, look at those. Novavax up 14, CleanSpark's up 14, Mara's up 15, MicroStrategy 9, Riley 8. I mean, that's a lot. And considering you didn't have that many down, I can't believe we only came up 7 cents. But of course, we don't know when they bought in, right? We also don't know about when they closed out of the rest of them. So this is just going over what we would normally go over for the daily roundup. I've just combined it in here with this. So then you can see if you wanted to look here at all the net assets. And I don't have a freeze pane. But we can see here that they've tried to make them all somewhat equal weightings, which they probably were equal throughout the day or when they first did them. And they're just not now. So it looks like we're averaging around 81 cents there, probably when they did them. So they're not too off right now. But anyway, so that was just to go over that. And then the other thing I want to go over, because this was mentioned earlier today, and we used to go over this, but then I stopped. I don't know that anybody truly cared. But let's just go back. So these came out. These came out at the end of February. And so you can see here these outstanding shares. Let me get my pen and this. So right here, look at the outstanding shares. So we had a lot of things going on there. And then I think then there wasn't much going on there for a couple of weeks. And then this is, I think, around because we're mid-month on these for declaration and everything else. But yeah, so we have a lot of huge buy-in here. And then we're almost like crickets for weeks here. What is that, 2-3 weeks? And then, of course, then we have the single stock ETFs, declaration date, and pay dates here. And then look at these numbers. 325,000, 375, 575, 825, 700. I mean, it's a lot. And I know we've been talking about it going through the daily. We kept talking about how it was going up and up, but we didn't ever go back to this tab where we could actually see all of those days combined. We'd just been mentioning it day to day. So since it was brought up in the Discord today, I thought I would go back to this summary tab that we used to show and just show y'all there all together over the last couple of weeks what's been going on. So we did that. We've done the daily tab. I screwed up. I don't have the trades. So let's go to the holdings. So what I did do is I went through and marked all the changes for the trades, all the, where we would have added to the stocks, sold the stocks, or created new short calls. Obviously, for short call here, it's new because we didn't have any when we closed out on Friday because all of them expired. I do have this open up, though, just to remind me, to show you, for those, since these are brand spanking new, we have Novavax here, obviously healthcare biotech. And then we have Reddit right below it, which I think most people know what Reddit is, though I'm not really sure I don't know. Anyway, I don't know who all uses it or what everybody uses it for, but it's a social media type thing there. So anyway, I'll close that up. That's the only two new ones, or those are two brand new ones. Besides those, I don't even think we had any that came back. We did have, let me go ahead and go through the ones. These are ones that we did have last week that were not over the, hold on, I say that, and you know what, I should probably double check just to make sure. So, Celsius, CGC, MicroStrategy, Root, no, because they bought back into all of those that they, except for maybe Root. Yeah, Root, because they closed out of that one. So they did close out of that one. So Root's one, I explained that, most of those had expired, but they still had 108 contracts there. But it's not on today's holdings. So I had them here as closing the remainder of those shares out, and then they didn't have the rest of these on there. So Beyond, Coin, GigaCloud, Genix, Root, Sunrun, and Symbotic. So they would have closed all of these out, and then these are the shares that went along with those. So then that leaves us with all these. Again, all the short calls are new for today. And then some of these we had the stock for. We just had to adjust the shares. So this is just adjusted for whatever we have today versus what was on there last week. Because, again, they try to balance this out at the beginning of the week when they start trading to have somewhat of an equal weighting, or at least that's what they've been doing the last couple of weeks that we've had stocks. And some of them, though, like Celsius and CGC, that were over their strike price on Friday, they're buying back into these because those ended up getting closed out for being assigned for being over the strike price. So, yeah. So anyway, so you can see added, new, and the number of shares. These would be, the problem is I don't have the exact, dollar amounts that go with those trades, even though I know the number of shares and what was open and what was closed and everything. So we'll just go through that down there on the side if you want to look at all of those, if you want to pause and look at them. I won't go through each and every one of those there. But what we will do, I'm going to scroll over like we would normally do, fit this in on the screen, and then we're going to go through these short calls and see where we stand here. Yeah. So here we have, so all of these short calls will expire Friday. So the only options we have are short calls, and they all expire Friday. So let's go through these. We have a firm with a strike price at $35. We closed down 2% at $33.03. We have AI with a strike price of $27.50. We're 4% below that. It looks like the stock might have come up a few cents today. It's at $26.51. Celsius strike price 100. We're underneath that 4% at $96.09. And the stock came up 3%. CGC strike price $11.50, underneath that by 12% because the stock closed at $10.13, down 7% today. Clean Spark, so we have a strike price of $19. We're below that by 4%, and the stock rose 14% today to $18.31. Carvana strike price $129. We're below that 9% at $117.50. It looks like the stock price did not move today, so that's interesting. And then we have Lyft here with a short call, $17 strike. We're underneath that by 5%, closed at $16.07, down 3% today. Mara strike price $24, underneath that 7%. The stock being at $22.32, which was up 15% today. MicroStrategy strike price 18.25, which were below 5% at 17.27 and 24 cents, and it was up 9% today. Novavax strike price 15.50, we're below that 5% at 14.79, and that rose 14% today. Reddit strike price is $66, we're 7% below that at 61.22, and it went down 1% today. B. Riley strike price of $33, we're below that 7%, currently at $30.71, and it rose 8% today. SMCI strike price 980, we're below that by 8% at 903.94, and the stock rose 2% today. SRPT, which was a therapeutics company, strike price 140, we're underneath that by 7% at 130.83, and it looks like we went down a few cents there today. Upstart strike price 28, below it by 9% at 25.56, and it looks like the stock came up 1% today. Viking Therapeutics, $74 strike price, below that 9% at 67.52, and the stock rose 1%. And then we have Zim Shipping here with a $21 strike price, underneath that by 9% at 19.18, and it was up 2% today. So that's where we stand on ULTY for today. Sorry for having to play catch up, and then also failing to save the trades, which I believe is a first for ULTY. In fact, I think I was just thinking about it recently when I first started. It was a big deal, about making sure I got them saved by midnight, and I almost didn't one night. I had to call home and get my husband to do it, but it really hasn't been an issue since. And then today happened. Of course, I'd be thinking about that today. But anyway, I think that gets us caught up to where we were. Sorry for all the hassle and everything going on. But hopefully I will be back tomorrow, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks. Bye.